On Saturday, May 6th, Great Britain will crown a new queen for the first time in more than 70 years at the coronation of Queen Consort Camilla and King Charles III. As the country prepares to enter a new era for the royal family, many may be curious about our head of state and his partner, who will be crowned queen this weekend. Camilla Parker Bowles has been a member of the royal family for years, but her ascent to the very top of the royal family tree was not cemented until 2005, when she married the King, then Prince of Wales. Even before the wedding, she and Charles were inseparable. Their relationship lasted many decades, but it was not always smooth. Over the years, however, the Queen Consort shed her reputation as the other woman and became a favorite of the royal family. The late Queen Elizabeth blessed Camilla to be called Queen Consort during her Platinum Jubilee last year, marking a major shift in her position in the family and in the minds of the country. Camilla was born Camilla Rosemary Shand at King's College Hospital on July 17, 1947. Her parents were Major Bruce Shand, a British Army officer who later became a businessman, and Rosalind Cubitt, a British aristocrat and daughter of Roland Cubitt, 3rd Baron. Ashcombe. The eldest of 3 children, she grew up in Lanes, an 18th-century country house in Plumpton, East Sussex. They also had a second home, a 3-story house in South Kensington. Camille described her childhood as idyllic. She told Women's Weekly Australia, "I was very lucky. I had an idyllic childhood right in the countryside, sitting on South Downs with my brother and sister and our pets and our ponies. I think it was a simple childhood." She recalled riding her pony to school with her siblings, Annabel Elliott and Mark Shand. "We were just wandering down this very beautiful road with 2 or 3 cars going by. Life was very casual," she recalled. "I guess I thought life would always be like that, but life had its own plans for Camille." At the age of 16, she enrolled at the Montfertel Finishing School in Tollequinaz, Switzerland, and later decided to go to France to study French literature for 6 months at the University of London Institute in Paris. In 1965 she became one of the 311 débutantes in London. Camilla spent the next few years traveling around the city apartments with friends and family, working as a secretary at various firms in the West End and honing her love of horseback riding and equestrianism. It was during this period of her life that she met the man who would become her first husband, Andrew Parker Bowles. Camilla and Andrew met through his younger brother Simon and had an occasional relationship. During one of their breaks, in mid-1971, Camilla met Charles, then Prince of Wales. Meanwhile, Andrew was dating the royal princess. Biographer Giles Brandreth wrote in his book Charles and Camilla, A Portrait of a Love Affair. The biographer Giles Brandreth wrote in his book Charles, A Portrait of a Love Affair, that they were formally introduced by their mutual friend Lucia St. Croix, even though they had circled around each other in the same social circles for years. The future king and Camilla began dating, and understandably, Charles was serious about Camilla. But when Charles went overseas to join the Royal Navy in 1973, the relationship was put on hold. Shortly thereafter, Camilla and Andrew rekindled their romance and announced their engagement. By July of that year, they were married. Charles was heartbroken over the breakup, as evidenced by his letter to his uncle Lord Mountbatten, in which he wrote of his sadness that such a blissful, peaceful and mutually happy relationship was suddenly cut short. However, he and Camilla kept in touch and continued their romance while she was married to Andrew, who was also unfaithful, and Charles was married to Diana, Princess of Wales. The turmoil in Charles's marriage to Diana has been well documented. As for Camilla, her own marriage came to an end after a recording of the now infamous Tampongate phone call between her and Charles became public in 1989. Embarrassed by the intimacy of the call, it was Andrew who asked Camilla for a divorce. Before the breakup, Camille and Andrew had 2 children, Tom and Laura Parker Bowles. She now has 5 grandchildren, Lola and Freddie from Tom's first marriage to Sarah Baez, and Eliza, Louis and Gus from Laura and her husband Harry Marcus George Lopez. During the years of their affair, it was claimed that the late Queen disapproved of Camilla. Royal biographer Kathy Nicholl wrote in her book 2022, New Members of the Royal Family, in 1998, when Charles tried to persuade his mother to be more accommodating to Camilla, the Queen called her that wicked woman. These cursed words were conveyed in distress by Prince Charles himself. Nicholl also wrote that the Queen will not allow Camilla's name to be spoken in her presence. Nevertheless, the couple remained faithful to each other and eventually married on April 9, 2005. During the ceremony, they both recited the strongest act of penance from the 1662 Book of Common Prayer to acknowledge and mourn our many sins and evil. Clarence House announced at the time that Camilla would use the title His Royal Highness the Princess Consort when Charles took the throne. Then, last year, the late Elizabeth expressed her earnest desire that when the time comes, Camilla should be known as Queen Consort as she continues her faithful service. After Elizabeth's death in September 2022, many speculated that the title would be changed to Queen. The title change was confirmed earlier this year. The public perception of Camilla has also changed over the years. While she was widely criticized for being Charles's mistress before they officially announced their relationship, Camilla is now one of the British royal family's favorite members. Her popularity is higher than that of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the Duke of York and Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Although she is just now preparing for her coronation, about which her former butler said she would be absolutely terrified, Camilla's place in history has been cemented for years. All eyes will be on her as she enters her future as Queen.